All right. Hello, YouTube and cryptocurrency family. My name is Harry, and I am the Crypto Vet. Thanks for coming back to keep watching all my ridiculous videos. I really appreciate it. I definitely didn't expect to have like 20, 30 views from random strangers, but hey, I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying what you're doing. I promise I'm going to make the videos way more structured as I go. I just kind of set up everything real quick just because of the market we're in, and I wanted to help educate people. So, again, thank you. I appreciate it. But we can go ahead and get into it. I'm going to continue my analysis on Bitcoin and tell you about this bull fake out. Said I still am bearish in the short term. I think we have a little bit more that we need to do. But it is currently 12:38 Texas time, and Bitcoin is trading under that 9,300-ish resistance, right at 92.85. The whole market is green, which is wonderful. Looks like the big guy here is Bitcoin SV with almost 20% change in the past 24 hours. Same chain link doing well. And I was going to go ahead and check on one that had me interested. It was VeChain. Where's that? Did it drop that far? Did I just pass it? Oh, I guess I passed it. Oh, I saw Zilliqa. It has to be up here somewhere. Oh, VeChain up to number 20 now. Not much of a change, but they had this big pump the past couple days. So, all right. So if we go back to my Bitcoin chart, we're going to start off on the weekly candle chart here. I still have these same lines that I had before. This is the 2.5 year resistance here, and then this one's going back maybe I think a year and a half. And I haven't moved the lines. And we saw that before we were actually bouncing off of the other one doing fine, but kind of struggling on the top tier resistance, the long one. And we actually started this candle this week in the green above both of those lines, because if I actually extend this one out and keep it in the same spot, we are actually trading right on that, right on that line that I had before. And this line isn't, I tried not to move or to change it just so I can see if these other ones were in a decent spot. Did it really test those resistances or support lines in the long term? Like, was that line being, confirmed over and over? And I just like to keep it that way without adjusting it every time I set up a new chart. On our 20 exponential moving average, we busted above it. And, this has been pretty almost always right. So as we're going and we're converging in this little triangle here, something's going to change. Either this one's going to win or the other one's going to win. So as of right now, it looks like we got a big green candle here. We're trading above both of those resistance lines now, and we're testing our last few before we could potentially break out. I think it's a good sign. Our MACD is good. Our RSI is right now right around 56. So we're still in a bearish or a bullish push, and everything sounds good. And I kind of hope I was wrong, to be honest, just because if this goes good, I still have enough Bitcoin on the side that I'll still be able to go with it. I'll just have missed out on having a bigger bag in a sense. But then also a lot of the cryptocurrencies altcoins that I invest in, those are going to be good. So I really want things to be bullish, but there are still a couple things that worry me. So if we move away from this weekly candle chart and we move to the daily chart, I made a ascending channel here and another descending channel on the right side, and I'll zoom in a minute. I know this looks like a lot. And then I copied and pasted those two channels back here. So this is a daily chart. Way back here is December of 2019. Here's about the beginning of the year, and this is where Corona came in. And we've been rallying up in this ascending channel since the last Corona hit. And now we are at the top of these resistance lines, and we've broken out of them, but we're back into this triangle. So my theory was, and the only reason I brought this up is before we had Corona, pretend we never actually knew this was going to happen, or it just didn't happen. If Bitcoin was going as it was trading in this little wedge, and it had the breakout downwards. If after here, if it had bounced up, we probably would have retested even higher in this line here, potentially all the way up, because the breakout can go both ways, and this time they were actually building up for a breakout, hopefully to the positive. But then of course, this is where stuff was starting to get shitty around the world. So if it never got any worse, I imagine we would have tested this up and had a breakout somewhere in here versus having to go through this rebuilding phase here. But now that we're having all the stuff in the world, I think that is going to be stronger than any technical analysis at this point, because people are just scared to invest their money. So there's a big sell wall, I think I read, just right when it gets to 97 or 9800, that a bunch of people are ready to go, okay, I'm good here, you can have the Bitcoin now. So I still think that it is going to drop down, because I feel like up here is where we had our real drop down, but we just had it a little early because of the world's economy starting to decline, and then our actual hit here in the United States. So if those hadn't happened, I have another theory of how this would have went, this whole thing. And there's nothing technical about that. That is just some random dude on the internet going, I think I have these two little chopstick hands here that look similar. They should do the same thing, right? But that's just something. And all this is, TA, is you're trying to find trends that have been proven multiple times and times again. There's a lot of books you can read that actually show if, we're in this ascending triangle going down, that more times out of none, it is for a uptrend breakout. You can go on deep into the stock market if you really want to. So moving on, we'll go to the 4 hour. Where here I see, very, very bullish signs. We bumped above the average, which was originally a resistance line. We straight up cleared that, like 2-3% increase. But remember that random line I had back here that showed to be resistance and support in tons of different places? Back here we're only at the beginning of June, but it's worked several times. We are touching it now and having a little bit of problem getting over it. And now we're a little bit under that long resistance line, the 2.5 year resistance line. So I still think that this is kind of like the bull fake out. We're going to get as much as we can, but and on the 4 hour RSI, we are in a downtrend, and we could easily have a cross on the MACD down here. So overall, I think this is probably one of the last bull fake outs before we actually break down. If we do hold up against this, which would be amazing, we will start to test those other lines, and hopefully we got enough people in here to go, okay, we did it. We're above the line. We're stronger now, and maybe that'll send it off. The reason I think we had this spike, though, today is probably the announcement that Trump's extending the PPP program, which, a lot of that money is gonna, just help boost the economy. So in a sense, we printed a 3% increase in money, in my opinion. But we'll see. And then that could have been the negative pressure we needed to go down to correct before the breakout, and it was just compensated by free money, thus didn't need to happen. Who the hell knows? What do I know? But all right, the last thing I want to talk about today is just a cool article I found on News BTC. I think it just popped up in TradingView for me. This article here says U.S. Senator digital dollar must beat Bitcoin and the digital yuan. I think that's how you say it. I actually tweeted this out. Sounds weird to say that. I'm not much of a social media guy, but I'm learning. Promise, I'm learning. I tweeted this out to my followers, all 4 of you, and this article is by Tony Spilotro, and he says I couldn't have been said better. During a hearing on the potential introduction of a digital dollar, Senator Tom Cotton claimed whatever the United States comes up with has to be better than Bitcoin. I agree, senor. I agree. He also asserts it must be better than China's digital yuan, which is currently in its pilot phase in the country. If it doesn't, the dollar's place in the global payment system may be at risk. I mean, that's 100% right. Everybody's economy is based off of the US dollar. And if China takes over, it's not going to be, Bitcoin to USD anymore. It's going to be Bitcoin to YUA or whatever the yuan is. So another noise, I guess. The United States debates the introduction of a digital dollar. So I read this whole article, and it's a quick read, and it'll be posted in the description if you want. And basically it's just saying how we use our dollar as the global reserve currency, and everybody else does. So for our own security as a superpower in the world, the U.S. would technically need to hold that tight as much as possible. So during the hearing, former CFTC chairman and crypto dad Christopher Giancarlo urged the U.S. to adapt, citing social and national benefits, along with referencing Darwinism. And then not too long, I think it was either before or after that, he also was saying how XRP was not a security because it failed the Howey test. So, you know, other interesting things that the man himself is helping to get crypto into the world. But overall, we need to beat the US to the punch. However, has been China. The country is close to launching its own version of the digital yuan that, left untested by a digital version of USD, could lead to the, what was this stand for? The digital currency electronic payment coming into power. So this wouldn't be good for US as a superpower and for us to keep making tons of money on cryptocurrency in the stock market. Also at the hearing, Senator Tom Cotton warned that anything the US creates must be better than Bitcoin and this. Because China's digital currency could potentially unseat the dollar as a global reserve. So pretty interesting. Not sure what we were actually doing. I've read lots of things, but, you know, there's not much progress that I've actually seen as far as, you know, yay, you know, next week we're going to try this thing. I wish they would look into blockchain a lot more, just because blockchain is, you know, it could be the solution for so many things, from, you know, pharmaceuticals, tracking for controlled drugs. Blockchain can be used for voting. So right now, when people don't need to go to the polls to be voting, we could actually set up a blockchain consensus model to where, you know, every state has so many nodes, and the nodes can be split between Republican and Democratic counties, whatever the hell it is, and then all those nodes are connected to an intercontinental system, so that way everybody in the U.S. has their nodes representing both sides, so we could constantly be checking everybody, and there would be no overlap in votes. So, you know, just a solution for the world and everything. But if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to put out videos every day as best I can, but I am still working a little bit. So, yep, hope you enjoyed it. Take it easy.